Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Here we have the finals of one of our F&Ms. Joe actually on lands. I initially thought he was on Black Saga Storm. Sphere of Resistance, and that is getting brushed aside by a Spell Pierce. That would have been a huge problem for control. There's just so many one casting cost cards that are amazing and help smooth things out, but man, when they cost 2 mana, they are clunky and terrible. Cards like Ponder and even Brainstorm would see 0 play as a 2 mana card. Second Sphere of Resistance, Storm in response. Brainstorm's so good, find answers at instant speed, on par with Ancestral, and yeah, finds the Force of Will, says no thank you to yet another Sphere. Urza's Saga on the other side of the table could become a problem. Create constructs and find answers to things like Planeswalkers, form of Pithing Needle. So Michael has no shortage of things that would want to be answered. Fury, Narset, both totally capable of taking over the game. I don't think he has any copies of the One Ring in here. Really just leaning into the power of Fourth Aerlingus to close things out. Also a potential interesting interaction already on board. So yeah, Pithing Needle presumably stopping Narset, especially given that there's one in hand. Thespian Stage can work really interestingly with Urza's Saga, becoming a copy of Saga just for a little while. Before you get to that final stage, after it's gained the ability to create constructs, go ahead and turn it into something else, preferably a basic land so it can't be wastelanded. And from there, you can just keep spitting out constructs. And speaking of preferring Thespian Stage being a basic, Blood Moon main deck on the other side of the board. And you know when your opponent gets the invocation version of Blood Moon, that is no coincidence. There's some malice there with that purchase, knowing just how much harm that's going to do for the opposing decks when you're actually landing it. That's about one of the worst things that lands can hope for here. Now, he does have Mox Diamond, so as any type of answers, they will certainly be castable. And at this point, since he made a Dark Depths land drop, does answer the Blood Moon, he will just insta get a 20/20. That state trigger will happen. Dark Depths entering the battlefield with no counters thanks to Blood Moon. Chipping away for 2 damage at a time here. Narset. Blood Moon pretty much just dictating the entire course of the game here. And actually, things are going so quickly, I may have actually missed a Day's Undoing along with the Narset. Deloading Michael's hand and eliminating Joe's. So Pithing Needle doesn't really do the job of containing Narset. Still denies card draw on the other side of the table. Fourth Aerlingus. Going to make a whole bunch of guys. Tokens from the Earth collectible card game. Is the Monarch, and he wants to hold on to it. He keeps one of those guys back. The Fury now, and that's, I mean, I feel like that's easily scooping time. Not sure what Joe is drawing to here. Both of these decks can dirtle. So yeah, not a ton of time wasted. Skip over the shuffling there. You just generally don't want to hang around in games longer than necessary when you're in a tournament setting. Sure, if you were at the kitchen table, maybe you might have some type of potential like perfect runner combination that you could draw. But in a situation where you might not be able to finish all 3 games because you pursue a game that you had like a 5% chance, that is a mistake that I see. Now, in that particular situation, those Human Knights were going to close things out really quickly anyway, so Joe couldn't be punished too badly. But if Michael hadn't had a win on board, not always worth continuing to fight. Sylvan Library, this could do a ton of work as long as Narset doesn't show up. Original printing as well. Got a Merit Lage already on board with Thespian Stage, copying Dark Depths, but Swords takes it out, so going for the quick win. Jams, Michael's got the Swords to Plowshares. Actually, that happened so quickly I didn't notice it in my prep. Just kind of hop through the video and see which cards look like they make an impact. Load up in a slideshow for mostly for newer players. I know a lot of you guys already know what most of these cards are doing. Anything that brings new players into Legacy overall is a good thing. Prismatic Ending, getting rid of that. Sylvan Library. Wasteland. Just waiting for a target. And this go around, Expedition Map, finding Urza's Saga. Gonna look to utilize that. And getting a little hateful of his own. You got a Blood Moon? Oh, I got a Choke. How about that? The island's gonna be one-time use until this Choke is handled with a Prismatic Ending or something along those lines. Devith on the other side would probably like a Yavimaya to go along with it. It's not likely to do a ton of work in this matchup. But it does, to a degree, point out the effectiveness of Fourth Eralingus. Even just making a single 2/2 for 3 mana, just getting in for 2, gaining the Monarch. Still an impressive card. The fact that it scales with the more mana you have is a lot to contend with. Urza's Saga finds Mox Diamond. Plowshares takes out the active construct. This is a real tense struggle right now. Michael has a ton of basic lands, a full grip. Joe does have a win condition on board in the form of Urza's Saga, but it doesn't stick around forever. And the construct tokens aren't incredibly difficult to answer. Got 3 constructs, and they do grow exponentially. Right now, they are all 5/5s. Let's see what he can punch through here. This one gets Swords to Plowshares. Joe's life just ballooning up to 36 here with all of these Swords effects. Shadow Spear likely to add to that. Michael needs answers. A couple answers would be nice. Of course, the exponential growth goes in the other way. Getting rid of a construct does make the other constructs significantly worse. Right now, 5/5 and a 4/4. Other Swords to Plowshares, so 4 coming through. Actually, 3 coming through because the other construct dips out. Still with a full grip. And here's to Fury, which is potentially the last answer. He's already mopped up 2 of the constructs. And he did bounce, but he didn't bounce the construct. Not actually sure what he bounced there. Oh, it was the Choke. Choke is out of the way. Counter it on the way back down, presumably. Surgical has also stopped the Urza's Saga. Force negation does in fact stop the choke. One more construct to take care of. Ruination. That's a bomb. Destroy all non-basic lands. That is quite the sweeper versus literal lands. And surgical extraction. Go using it on Michael. It's worth noting that surgical, if he had it in hand, can be used defensively. If your opponent tries to surgical extraction your Urza's Saga, for example, to get rid of all of them, if you have your own surgical, you can surgical the one in the graveyard that they target and then fail to find on the rest. So chipping in there. Little complicated interaction. So Mystic Sanctuary was stopped by the surgical. And a dress down, actually not enough to clear the token because of the Shadow Spear. So typically dress down is the most brutal answer to constructs. Just wiping out any number of them while drawing a card and avoiding any of them coming back while it's on the board. Shadow Spear, however, does give it +1/+1, so it becomes a 0/0 with a +1/+1 from the equipment. This has been a crazy game. Joe going for it earlier, being stopped. Michael dragging him into the deep waters, but it's lands. It's a deck that's capable of functioning in the deep end of the pool. And we've got Swords to Plowshares of his own. Of course, much, much worse on his side of the table than it is on Michael's. Fourth Erlingus making a bunch of guys, so they're currently in a standoff. And Days Undoing, that's probably just gonna do it there. With Narset. Go down to just one card. Now it begins Prismatic Ending. Actually took out the Mox Diamond. That feels a little disrespectful from the card's perspective. If it's sitting there, you're trying to win the game, your opponent has removal, and they don't even bother wasting it on you. Instead, they take out your Mox Diamond. What did I do wrong? I'm supposed to be winning. Now we've got Yavimaya enabling this Dark Depths. There's the Blood Moon. Joe just scooping to that. As that was a really back and forth game. I hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Thank you for watching. For more magic from ELD's Time Vault games, be sure to subscribe and check out more videos just for you over here.